This is where the fun begins.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey everyone, Hybrid Tour Reviews here, and today we're going to take a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Droideka Destroyer Droid. This is a figure that has been long awaited for in the line. Destroyer droids are one of the first battle droids that we saw in the prequels. You know, we saw the original tan battle droid first, and then immediately after our destroyer droids. And it is just a really cool, iconic design that has lasted the test of time. It is a fan favorite, and it's just one of those iconic things you think of when you think about the Separatists right in the beginning of the, in the trilogy that started it all. So I really love this droid design. I'm glad that we're finally getting it. Let's get into the review and see if this is something you should add to your collection. Alright, you guys know the drill. As always, we start by taking a look at the packaging first. I would say this is your typical Black Series stuff, but there's actually some different stuff going on. It's stylized like a normal Black Series box, and if you look at it from the front, it almost optical illusions you into believing that it is an ordinary Black Series box. Let me change the perspective for you a little bit. This box is deep. This is one big boy. So to bring in a standard Black Series box, here is a HK Assassin droid, and the profile on the front is a touch wider than is standard, and then, of course, it is significantly deeper. It is basically two figures deep, maybe even two and a little bit of a gap in between. So this is a very large box. And it's not what you would typically, get, but the Destroyer droid is a very, very large droid. So it's, what you're going to be getting here. Let's go ahead and look at it, though. It is your standard Black Series packaging in design, with your Black Series logo above a big window showing the Destroyer off nicely. Star Wars The Phantom Menace, or Droideka Destroyer Droid 4 Plus Hasbro. Nice wide profile shot of the Destroyer droid with the door of the Trade Federation battleship behind it. The side of the box features your wraparound window, your really long wraparound stripe, Black Series logo. Around back, Black Series logo. Zoom into that side art is named. A bio in varying languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. He's number 4 in the Phantom Menace lineup. Bunch of legal stuff and Disney and Hasbro logos. Barcode, more legal stuff down below. And up top, you do have a little window which lets some light in the box if you're one of those loser in-box collectors. I like to play with my toys, so let's open it up and see what we get here. Alright, here's a Destroyer droid out of packaging. Now, ordinarily we'd start with accessories. There are none. However, what could you give a Destroyer droid? Some people are saying they wish it came with a big shield. I don't know of any way they could have done it that wouldn't have looked like a big plastic ball. And that is not what the shield looks like. It looks like an energy bubble. And since it can't possibly be done in a way that looks exactly like on screen, I'm okay with it coming with none, because a lot of the times they would just set up without their energy shield. So that is not a detractor by any stretch. So initial thoughts getting this guy out of the box. I mean, A, he looks amazing. B, he is fiddly. Don't get me wrong, he looks great. I'm glad to have him. I'm going to be picking up 2 more for the sake of boosting my droid army. But I said on a Creators Guild stream a while back that the perfect Droideka, in my opinion, would be one with no articulation, one that would be a statue, because I had some 3-inch ones when I was a kid. I just remember just being very fiddly. Now, one of my complaints with the ones I had as a kid is that the legs would get really loose, and, they would eventually end up, slumping, and it doesn't suffer that. The legs are nice and tight, however, this arm is nice and loose, so that's great. But, it's just, there's so many points of articulation going on here. It does feature the ability to turn into roller mode, as best as an action figure can. But, ultimately, as far as its presentation as a standing, dual-wielding, two-cannoned destroyer droid, I think it's great. I love the paint effects. It's very coppery with just a hue of purple over the copper. It looks very, very nice. I'm just incredibly satisfied with everything that could be done here. I love the little silver punch-ins. The red dots on the end of the eyes are just great. Little wires exposed here and there in the arms. And it's done in a gray plastic that has a little bit of silver speckle in it. Makes it look metally, and I'm completely fine with that. He looks really cool. Just all in all, I look at him, and the Destroyer droids as a design are a little bit of a little bit of a mess to begin with. So ultimately, I just see a ton of stuff going on, and I'm like, that's a destroyer droid. So I guess, aesthetically, it looks the part. I guess let's look at some articulation, maybe see about a transformation. So as far as articulation goes, he's got too much. The head is on a little ball, so it can like look up and down and pivot, and then it's on this long neck that can actually slide back into like the back shell, and you want it slid back on for ball mode. The back shell actually can pivot in like 2 places up there. And if you crunch it further, you start to collapse the back because there's a couple of joints in the back. The arms, I guess we're going to call these shoulders. The shoulders can come up that high and down and then go forward and back. And then you can come out here and swivel there. And then there's a upper, we're going to call that a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows with a piston in there that works like a piston. I mean, that's cool. And fold them all the way back up, and there's no wrist or anything going on. These plates here hinge in and out. Painted very nice. But yeah, they hinge in for ball mode. The legs, all the legs can go down, they can go up, they can pivot at the base, and then there's a hinge out there that does not pivot. And that's true for all of the legs here. So, not looking at any reference photos, just attempting to do it right here, right now, on what I think a converted destroyer droid would look like. I think the arms pull back roughly, something like so, and the abdomen kind of curls up, and then I think you almost have to like fold the legs up and in. There's probably someone out there that's like, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. But that's roughly circle shaped. Doesn't really roll very well. But yeah, so you can kind of accomplish a ball shape. However, I gotta say, who's putting it on the shelf like that, right? Like, I don't want to say it was over-engineered, but it was definitely over-engineered. I mean, it does not need to be doing that. Like I said, if it was just a statue that looked like a battle-ready destroyer droid, I'd have been happy. I wouldn't have said nothing. Like, it would have been all right. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's there, because inevitably someone would say it as a critique. For me, it's just not a selling point either. So getting the destroyer droid roughly stood back up. Now that he's been in ball mode, he'll never be in ball mode again. This is how he's going to live on my shelf. Let's do a little size comparison. He's pretty big, don't get me wrong. Here he is next to the Gaming Greats Heavy Battle Droid with a custom blaster I had 3D printed. As you see, once you get the Battle Droid standing, the Battle Droid stands taller, which is accurate. These guys are very broad. And then here he is next to the 23 Phase 2 Clone Trooper. They stand at a similar height. I feel that's accurate. They're just very deep, they're very broad, you know, they're not particularly tall. And I feel that's accurate. It looks pretty good. So, end of the day, what do I think of the Black Series Destroyer Droid? Look, it is fiddly, it is awkward, but it is beautiful. When you finally fiddle it into the right pose like this, I love all of it. Look, it's over-engineered. I said it like 3 times. A statue would have made me happiest. It wouldn't have made a lot of other people happy. I get why they didn't go that route. But I like the presentation. It looks really good. It's just a frustrating action figure. This is not one to give to the kids to play with. You know, they're going to get annoyed by it. But I think, you know, you're going to get a couple of them. You're going to stick them on the shelf, you know, flank them with some battle droids. You're going to have a good time. You're really going to like the look of it. I'm very satisfied. I think this is great. You're just not going to catch me putting it in ball mode anytime soon. So that's it for the review. You know, it's good. I'm happy to have it, but it's a little annoying. So thanks for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, you should leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff. You know the drill. I'll catch you next time. Till then, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.